It's just whatever. It's just one game. I think I lost week 1 last year as well. It's okay.
You like the Bengals?
I am like the
slow
Bengals.
starter.
Slow
starter.
I got 2 titles. Honestly, I could not win for the next 5 years, and I'm still good. I won 2.
Oh my God!
I'm just saying.
Good Lord.
Please, I've won 2 of the first 3 years of this league.
Like the next 5 years.
I'm saying if I've got 2 titles in 6 years, that's still a pretty good mark.
Could you imagine the opening monologue of the draft after year 5 with no championship?
Yeah, I feel like that's why Patrick Mahomes goes into the Chiefs locker room every season. Like, guys, it doesn't matter if we don't win one for the next 5 years. We've already banked 3.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour, home of the 5-year drought, apparently. Connor Rogers, Matthew Berry,
I'm just
Jake
saying,
Thatcher.
I've got a leash. I'm just saying ownership and the fans are going to give me a long leash. They're so happy with the back-to-back titles. We're going for the title this year, but I'm just saying if for some reason injuries pile up, I've already lost Xavier Worthy.
There we go.
If injuries pile up, I'm just, you guys have something to prove. I don't have anything to prove.
Underrated. Matthew Berry, one of the great babies of our time.
Yeah.
Unbelievable position
Yes.
he's taken down here.
Full diaper.
Yep. One of the great caveaters.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nobody can survive an Xavier Worthy injury.
You're blaming George Kittle's injury for your loss in week 1. He's not even on your team.
I know, but I was distracted and sad by it.
You know what was really good, too? I would have beat anyone else.
Yeah.
I would have beat anyone else.
Except for me and him and everyone else.
No, I would have beaten backup producer Pete. I would have beaten producer Damian, producer Adam.
Yeah.
1,000%. I was like 6th in points. I was like middle of the
So you
pack.
lost to 5 other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but if I'd played the other 5,
chance.
we'll
no,
see.
Brilliant.
That's fine.
Absolutely
I'm still refer to me, please, as champion because until there's a new one, I am still your champion. You are still my bitch in the worlds of fantasy football. In our fake football league.
And in other aspects as well.
Lots to get to today, Connor. Take control of this, for the love of God.
I am, but before we do anything, I have to start with a story. So I had an interesting start to the day here at work.
Okay, sure.
I get off the highway, get to a light, I'm waiting at the light. Light turns green. I'm waiting. I'm like, this is kind of taking a while. This person in front of me must be kind of sleeping at the wheel. I need them on my level. I slam the horn. And then we're driving in. I'm like, oh, boy, this is somebody I work with. But a lot of people work here. There's millions of cars here at work. So I'm like, it won't be that big of a deal. And it was on them. I gave a long time for them to go.
Before you gave the honk.
Before I gave the honk. And I pull in, and I'm like kind of curious who this was. I think it was you.
Oh, really?
I'm about 99% sure it was you.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was a hilarious look back.
Should we go forward when there's a green light, Matthew?
I'm probably, I don't know, probably because Connor was behind me and F him.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, I think Matthew is actually messing with me here. And then we went on our way, and now we're on the desk for keep it open, close it out.
Great man's go
that's
for
fair.
next time,
Well, here's but at least on the positive, nothing will happen to you. It's not like, it was one of the big bosses or anything.
No, it was actually reassuring. When I saw the outline of you, I was like, oh, that's actually perfect. Yeah. I wouldn't want it any other way.
100%. Jay, what did you do last night?
I caught a foul ball, Matthew.
Really?
Yankee Stadium. Took my younger brother Will, who's visiting from Australia, to the Bronx. And as the caption says on Twitter, I did have to stiff arm some children out of the way. But I was able to catch a foul ball off the bat of Riley Green. But it will go in my office, and we will say that it was off the bat of Aaron Judge.
That's right. But it was actually off the bat of Riley Green last night. So congratulations, Jay. And I also just want to say a quick thank you. Thank you to the regulars. The regulars are out there everywhere. And the regulars sent me a couple of photos. Pete, show the first photo. So this is the kid.
Oh, no.
This is the kid that Jay stole it from. The Yankees were playing the Tigers last night. And so this poor kid is the one that actually had a shot at the foul ball. Jay pushed him out of the way. Here's the second photo, obviously.
Wow, that's a nice baseball. That's a real nice
it's
baseball.
It's absolutely a real photo. You can tell this hasn't been auto-generated at all.
Is that a potato?
But luckily, thank you, Riley Green. Here's a picture.
Oh,
of
they made it right. They made it right. Great
Riley
job.
Green and the kid. Thank you to the Tigers PR staff and everyone of the Detroit Tigers organization.
Great job, Riley Green.
Green
You drank for free. Nicely done.
Well done. I couldn't believe
that's
evil
sad.
Jay
That's really messed
pushing
up.
a little kid out of the way to get a foul ball off Riley Green
That's
when he's a
disappointing.
Yankees fan.
It's every man for himself.
And child.
In the foul ball game.
Yes.
Now, there's two caveats. Okay?
Yeah.
So one, may not have caught the ball on the full. There may have been some ricochets, but I ended up with the ball. It was airborne. I fought off people.
You pushed the little kids out of the way. I get it.
Secondly, It may not have been Riley Green. I can't remember. But I think it was either Riley Green or Kerry Carpenter. Either way, it doesn't matter. I have the ball. It sits in my office for all the time.
Right.
Yankees lost 12-2. It wasn't a great result for the team, but we bounced back. We marched towards the AL East.
Just so I understand the full picture, just so our fans understand what happened, is that drunk at Yankee Stadium, a foul ball ricochets around. You drunkenly push
wasted at Yankee Stadium.
Drunkenly push a bunch of 6-year-old kids out of the way. Managed to grab the ball. Poor kid is crying, but thank you to the regulars. They all took pictures. They got it, everything like that, and. But anyway, and then like I'm sure you saw this on social media as well. But the Tigers organization saw it. They came back.
Made it right.
They made it right as well. It was your younger brother that you took to Yankee Stadium?
My younger brother Will, his first time watching baseball. He asked me when the Yankees started to implode. He asked me, why don't they let Judge pitch? Which it's not how it works, really.
Yeah.
You just don't get your best player, doesn't get to do anything unless he's Shohei Ohtani. But no, it was a great time, very fun at the baseball. One thing about the foul ball situation, though, which is this is the first time I've caught one, won't be the last, definitely won't be the last.
No.
But as you catch it, you kind of look around, it's like, jeez, I hope there's no children around here. Yeah. And outside the ones I pushed away. Yeah.
And there was. We have pictures of them. Thank you to the regulars, as always, for being Johnny on the spot.
And then I looked at them and I was like, no.
But real talk for a second. Evil J knows no bounds. There's no question about it, Julio. Is anyone surprised by that at all? I will say that is true. Jokes aside, I don't know if you guys could tell, but the second photo was AI generated.
Yeah, not the first one. yeah.
No, the first one.
Riley Green really did make it right.
The Riley Green one was completely legit, as was the first one.
The potato baseball was a little questionable.
Yeah, exactly. The first photo was, which by the way, if you notice, the first photo is at day, like it was a night game. Like it's completely.
And the child keeps changing. It's a different child all 3 times. It's not the same kid.
That's definitely not Yankee Stadium.
This is what I put in. I said, do you know NBC Sports analyst Jay Croucher? Yes, I do. Here's all your bio. Can you take a picture? Can you create a picture of him holding a baseball happily at Yankee Stadium next to a crying kid in a Tigers hat? And that's what came up. So AI's coming, but we've still got a couple months.
Shortcomings with that. The chat is loving this, by the way. Right. Salty Old Dog said, "I'm more amazed that Jay has an office," which is it's a very good point. When you did say the baseball will sit in your office, I don't know quite where that is. All right,
no, I don't have an office. Do you have an office here? I don't have an office.
I throw my book bag in the corner of the studio usually.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even have a place to park anymore. That's right. I'm not kidding.
That's right. I double parked too. That was the other thing, is I took 2 spots.
Good for you at this point. Yeah. You got to show your status.
Surprising.
Nuts. But real talk for 10 seconds. If I actually was at a baseball game and caught a foul ball, I would not only I would try to find a kid. Yeah. Like I would chase down a kid, like some kid with cotton candy. Hey, here, take the ball.
Throw it at a kid. Right, exactly. I don't want to hold this. I don't want to be on camera.
I don't want to be on camera near any kid.
You can get canceled at any moment.
1,000%.
You're done.
Yeah. That's great. I was very happy with how it played out. Also, I was thinking about giving it to my brother who's visiting from Australia, but that thought passed pretty quick.
No, he doesn't appreciate it.
He was like, what do I do with this?
He doesn't know.
Does Aaron Judge need this back so he can close out the game?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you think about when you came home bringing it to one of your children who once again you left at home for the night, ignoring them?
I thought about it, and then I just thought, no, I like the baseball more than I do.
You can't. So
I keep it myself.
Exactly.
Okay, we're finally here. You can tell. You could really tell it's a backup producer Pete Day.
Oh yeah.
Rolling in the TV, putting on a video, and saying, "You guys got this."
Go watch Dead Poet Society.
So believe it or not, we're gonna do start sit. Keep it open or close it out. Steven is somewhere enjoying his life, and Adam. We've never lost them like this.
When Pete is in it, it's so just you guys watch a movie.
You do the show. Here's AI generated video pictures.
You guys got this right. Oh my God!
I'm
just gonna sit behind the desk reading Field and Stream.
The control room staring at him like, please press some kind of button. All right, we did get the keep it open or close it out animation. It's our version of start sit here at the Fantasy Football Happy Hour Bar, and we're gonna start with Dak Prescott, who, by the box score and by the fantasy numbers, did not have a great week 1, but by the tape, Dak Dak looked pretty good, which inspires at least some hope for me, Matthew, a bounce back against the Giants. Where does he come in for you with your rankings, and is it enough to start Dak in Week 2?
I'm in my initial Week 2 ranks as QB 11, so I am keeping it open. I am starting him this week. First off, we expect the Cowboys offense to be pretty good against the Giants, right? They have an implied team total of over 25 points. That's top 10 on the Week 2 slate. Remember that game against Philadelphia? 4 drop passes, obviously a lot of them on CD Lamb, my guy 8. That was tied for the most in Week 1. So I thought Dak looked really good, and they actually should have had more, there should have been more meat on the bone if CD Lamb comes down with passes that he normally does. Remember also, that was the Thursday night game. So they're off the mini bye. They've had 10 days to prepare for a home opener against a Giants team that's now traveling to Dallas. I thought that, Jane Daniels missed a couple of throws as well, but if there's a flaw in the Giants defense, it's that secondary where I think you can really attack. They allowed the 6th most yards per completion in week number 1, Jay. I think all wheels up. And if somebody in your league is panicking about Dak Prescott, go trade, because I thought he looked brilliant.
Yeah, thought he looked spry was the big thing. Last year he looked a little bit lethargic. He didn't look as athletic. He looked slimmed down. What you giggling?
I'm still laughing about it.
Get your eyes closed like in front of the green light.
Just the backup producer Pete thing. the assistant, the
substitute
teacher is so good.
Take the wheel, Jay.
Go ahead, please. Please.
My Giants are no good as well. That's the other problem. And I think that Dak, he will light them up. Also, those 4 drop passes, they weren't like little 5-yard out routes. Like, they were dropping 50-yard bombs.
Yeah.
Also, he would have had a touchdown if not for a pass interference call. Like, Dak looked excellent in week 1, and he's got an easier matchup this week against the Giants. And also, I don't think the Giants are going to sustain a lot of drives. Even against a pretty mediocre Dallas defense, I think Dak will have the ball a lot. I think it's going to be a throw-a-lot offense. I think that he is going to, statistically, a lot more resemble 2023 Dak than first half of 2024 Dak.
I thought he looked slimmer, too. It looked like he's
moved well,
right,
in really good shape. I'm with you guys. I am very optimistic about a Dak rebound. Obviously, you have him QB 11. It's not like we're thinking Dak's going to have a top 3 to 4 quarterback fantasy week, but I think a rebound for Dak. But somebody I'm not as optimistic on, Jay, is Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
And it's not just, we talk about health with Kenneth Walker a lot. This is not a good matchup in this game against the Steelers, but the usage is what's concerning to me compared to Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah, it seemed like Zach Charbonnet's backfield. And Kenneth Walker, he didn't look good. He didn't look explosive. His rush yards over expectations really poor. He's going against the Niners defense. Their run defense has been one of the worst in the NFL the past 2 years. I don't think they really fixed it, even though they addressed some aspects in the draft. They just couldn't get anything going on the ground, either Seattle. I think they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more against Pittsburgh. I understand Pittsburgh's defense didn't cover itself in glory against the Jets, but still regress. That should be a very good defensive line. So tough matchup for Kenneth Walker, tough usage situation, and just tough look for how he looked overall.
Not only did he not get the usage that I think a lot of people drafted expecting, but he didn't get the high value touches that we want, right? Charbonnet saw twice as many red zone rushes as Ken Walker. The only goal line carry went to Charbonnet, not Ken Walker as well. We talked about this throughout the whole preseason, saying like Walker's banged up, Charbonnet looks awesome, and we have no guarantee that Clint Kubiak, in his first year as offense coordinator, coming into the situation fresh, isn't going to be like, yeah, give me a committee. That he's going to do what other coordinators previously to him, that all got fired, by the way, were like, yes, it's all going to be Ken Walker as long as he's healthy, and if he's out, then it's Charbonnet. Charbonnet has proven he can be a number 1 running back in this league when he gets an opportunity, and so you think about this 40.5 over-under. It's the lowest on the Week 2 slate. Now, obviously, the lowest on the Week 1 slate was Jets Steelers, right? And that was a bonanza. So it's not always right, but there was nothing from the Seahawks offense that gave me a ton of confidence that where you're like, oh yeah, let me get a piece of that. And to the eye test, Charbonnet just looked like the better, more explosive back. And not just to me, but I think to the Seahawks coaching staff, because Ken Walker played 40% of the snaps. He saw 9 fewer snaps than Charbonnet. This was a committee with Charbonnet on the top of it. I have Charbonnet ranked higher than Ken Walker this week. I'm closing it out on Ken Walker on the road at Pittsburgh until I see it. Again, by the way, West Coast team going to a 1 o'clock game on the East Coast. You don't always love that either.
Ethan said, it's my birthday. Do I get a shout out? Here's your shout out, Ethan. Thinking of trading for Kenneth Walker since I already have Charbonnet. Any risk in that, Matthew?
Sure. It depends. Who are you giving up? Right? You know what I mean? It depends on who you're giving up. If you're giving up, in essence, somebody else who is on the wrong side of a committee, if you're giving up Kareem Hunt, then no, there's no risk in that. I like that idea. But if you're giving up somebody that went around the same range as Kenneth Walker, if you're giving up Tony Pollard, then yes, I would much prefer. I'm making up a name here, but Tony Pollard. Ethan, I need to know who you're trading for to get Kenneth Walker to answer that question fully. But Ken Walker, I think his value right now is a low-end flex who's on the wrong side of a committee.
Yeah, he's kind of Jalen Warren-ish.
Yeah.
The running back on the other side of this matchup. I think they're in the same kind of tier.
Yeah, although Warren at least is the lead.
Yeah.
Like I feel, it's going to sound insane, but I feel better about Jalen Warren as the lead in Arthur Smith's offense than I do about what I mean, I just don't think the Seahawks offensive line is any good.
No.
I think they're one-dimensional with JSN.
Right, that's the thing, and I saw a lot in the chat was like, oh, well, did you see how the Jets handled the Steelers? Yes, the Jets had 180-plus rushing yards, but the Jets' offensive line is significantly better, and Justin Fields contributes to a lot of those rushing yards as well. So,
do you think Clint Kubiak is a good offensive coordinator?
I think it's kind of a TBD, because when he had a healthy team for a couple weeks in New Orleans, it was like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, and then the wheels fell off the bus as the health went out the door. But, I mean, they chose to sign Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp, and if those signings don't work out, like, that's the decisions you made. So.
Also, I thought
That's
Darnold,
not Clint Kubiak's decision. That's
the
the
offensive coordinator
front
has to have a big input in that, though.
Yeah,
You have to.
I thought Darnold actually looked fine. I didn't think he played poorly by any stretches. They couldn't create anything in terms of the run game. They didn't have the ball very much either, and Kupp just did not look good at all. But JSN looked good. Darnold, I thought, looked fine. It's still given another week one. You know, It's 100% of the sample so far, but still, I still think there is some hope for this run game. But if they don't do anything against Pittsburgh, then it's red flags.
It's week one, and it's also week one against the Niners, who they see all the time. Like, it's two teams that are very familiar with each other. Even though it was a new offensive system, still, it's like, and San Francisco has a pretty good defense.
Yeah, Robert Saleh's back, gives him a boost.
Yeah,
it's week one. Like, Saquon Barkley didn't do anything on the ground against Dallas.
Right.
Like, we'll see, but yeah, not a great start for Seattle.
I think Kubiak will be fine to answer the question. But Kenneth Walker, that's one where I'm a little bit more pessimistic. We move to another running back in Tyrone Tracy. The Giants' offensive line was terrible week one against the Commanders. Tyrone Tracy, if you want to be optimistic about anything in this offense that's not Malik Neighbors, Matthew, I think it's Tracey because he always passes the eye test.
Yep.
And you, in theory, should be able to run on Dallas, although we'll see how that kind of holds this year as they've made efforts to change that. Can you still start Tracey despite how poor the Giants' line was last week?
I get the question because I have Tracey in a lot of leagues, and obviously I was disappointed with the week one output. The one thing that you can hang your hat on there is you see it there on your screen. He played 73% of the snaps, right? He had 12 total touches. Now, wound up with only 35 yards and 5.5 fantasy points, but if there's something positive, like as bad as Tyrone Tracy was, he was better than Devin Singletary and Cam Scatterbo, right? Who, the Singletary and Scatterbo combined for 5 rushes. Scatterbo also got 2 receptions, under 3 fantasy points for Scatterbo. Singletary 0.9 fantasy points. So they saw a combined 7 touches for 18 yards. The non-Tyrone Tracy. So was Tracey good against the Commanders? No. Was he better than who might replace him?
Right.
Yes, he was. It's worth noting that he had a 15.6% target share on third down. Tracey did. So, again, converted wide receiver from college. They'll use him some in the passing game as well. I think Dallas wins this game. So, and on the road, I do think they'll want to. I don't think they want Russ throwing it. They're going to have to.
Great.
Yeah, it did not look great as well. But, Cowboys did give up 158 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns to the Eagles.
A lot of that was Hurts, though.
I know it was. I know it was. But, and Russ ran. Russ was actually top 10 in design quarterback runs in week one. Shocking.
Great offense in 2025.
Shout out Lawrence Jackson. That was his pickup line at plus money, and that cashed. He hit on Thursday's show, I think it was Sunday show.
Sorry, third time.
They'll run together. I got Connor Rogers honking behind me, while I'm driving. It's all distracting.
Getting the momentum going for the show. We got off to a great start today.
AI tasked to complete.
I had a lot going on
AI.
this morning.
Very real photo.
In all seriousness, when you honk, I probably literally was on the phone with backup producer Pete, going over what do we want to do.
Now you're excused.
The IA.
Yeah, just like that. Backup producer Pete, bus rolled over. It wasn't me. It was backup producer Pete again.
You're asking why was I stopped at a green light? Probably because I actually was on the phone doing that. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, don't be on your phone and drive.
So Yeah, no.
Easy
But,
fix.
No, easy. Listen, and then I took off my seatbelt and started texting.
Yeah.
As soon as you honked, I'm like, all right, let me just
generate a couple more photos.
a couple quick
I can
photos as I
slander
drive.
Jay.
Yeah.
Yes, very good strategy.
Obviously. Anyway, I'm keeping it open on Tyrone Tracy.
Let's go to the wide receivers. We start with Travis Hunter against the Bengals here. With Travis Hunter, I think what was promising, Matthew, was the usage or the desired usage. Maybe the results in the end weren't what you wanted, though.
They weren't. I mean, look, there was an opportunity there that had Lawrence hit him in stride would have been like a 40-yard gain, if not more. Say underthrew him. But the fact that he had a 27.5% target share in week number 1, he had an 82% route participation. When he was out there, they were looking for him, and that's what you're hoping for here. They'll get better. It's also the Bengals. The over-under here is 48.5. I might take the over in this one. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals secure any passing offense. I think Travis Hunter, I'm keeping it open. I'm at wide receiver 26, guys. To me, he's a wide receiver 3 with some upside. You see my ranks right there. He's right there in the Ricky Pearsall, Tetairoa, McMillan range there. It's kind of a mid-tier wide receiver 3. Connor, what did you see from Hunter on the field in terms of his comfort level at the NFL level as a wide receiver?
Well, did they want to get him targets where he could try to create something after the catch a little bit? But he looked every bit of the part of the guy that made the most of his touches at Colorado, where the short and intermediate stuff, his routes are very crisp. Obviously, like you said, I didn't think Trevor Lawrence looked great in this game, by the way, which was probably the bigger concern because Brian Thomas Jr. did nothing in this game. This game had the weird delay as well. Yeah. Hunter's stats were looking...
And the delay was early,
Yes,
too.
it was the second quarter.
Yeah.
But I think he had 4 catches at the delay, and then the pace of the game was a little different. So I was actually very optimistic about Hunter in fantasy after this game, even if the box score didn't indicate that.
Yeah, it was just a weird game overall in terms of the Jags were playing with the lead the entire time, and I think the Jags will be solid and confident this year. They're probably not going to be playing with a double-digit lead so consistently. Bryce Young was horrific. I think the Jags they didn't have to have a high-volume passing game. They probably will to be able to keep up with the Bengals. So, I think we'll learn a lot more about Travis Hunter. I'm surprised you rank him above T-Mac. I think T-Mac is going to just get a lot more volume. I understand it's week by week.
He's going to get a lot more volume, but for me, it's environment, right? So, I mean, just being on the road at Cincinnati, to me, is just again, it's the highest over/under in the slate. I feel a lot better about that
than going against Arizona.
Yes, than going to Arizona, where listen, again, it was against the Saints, but the Cardinals' defense is plucky. It's not a disaster, I guess is what I'm saying. It's not. Yeah, it's solid.
How about this username, Ved FF Happy Hour Regular?
Wow.
Oh,
Yes, thank you, Ved. Travis Hunter or
Ved.
George Pickens for the rest of the season?
that's a tough one.
That is.
That's right there.
I would still take Hunter.
Yeah.
But I think you get more variance, bigger upside plays, best ball plays with Pickens.
I think that's right. I'm not freaked out about Pickens after the first week where he only got 3 targets, I think, something like that. They'll take more deep shots to him, but on the road, first game, it's not surprising that Dak was looking for CeeDee Lamb. Let me put it this way. I think I would take Hunter. It depends on your format. I agree with you. I would take Pickens in best ball. But in regular season long, Hunter, because I just think that there are going to be more opportunities for Hunter to have the ball in his hands.
Yes.
Right. Pickens is going to be deep routes, right, and they'll take those shots, and some of them are going to pay
flags.
off. And he draws flags,
which doesn't mean anything for us.
No, exactly. But with Hunter, they'll do bubble screens. They'll do the reverse that we saw with Brian Thomas that got into the end zone. They'll do with that Travis Hunter as well. They're going to do different things to get the ball in Travis Hunter's hands in a way that I don't think they'll do that with Pickens. But I think it's super close, Ved.
Yeah, good question.
Do you think Ved's his real name?
Sure, why not?
Maybe it's his initials.
Do you think FF Happy Hour Regular is his real last name? Or do you
Yes,
think
that I'm sure of. It's on the birth certificate.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, clearly.
That one.
A wide receiver with less optimism right now, Jay, Cooper Kupp. Once again, back to that Steelers matchup for Seattle, but he's outside Matthew's top 50 wide receivers going into the week. Not a great start to his Seahawks era for Cooper Kupp, and this kind of goes back to last year now.
Yeah, I think you have to close it out on Cooper Kupp until you see something. I wouldn't give up on him entirely. You had to still keep the door open. He did have weeks last year where looked terrible, then explodes against Buffalo at the end of the season for an amazing game. He just looks so slow and plodding, and he's dropping catches that he just never drops. So, yeah, I fear that it might be over for Cooper Kupp, but it's 1 week. We'll give him another chance, but can't take the risk of starting him until you see it.
closing it out as well. It's really depressing for me. As you guys know, one of my favorite players in the NFL, my little Cooper Kupp. It's been a joke for a long, long time. Love Cooper Kupp. Have him on every dynasty team that I have. But you think about over his last 4 full games, dating back to last year, he has 68 total receiving yards. He's not averaging 68 total like in 4 games, he's totaled 68 receiving yards. You have to go back to week 14 of 2024 to find the last time that he scored more than 5.4 fantasy points per game. Seahawks were 29th in pass rate in week number 1. I know that the Jets-Steelers game was kind of this wacky, high-scoring game that we didn't expect, but again, West Coast team on the road at Pittsburgh. That's a tough place to play for a 1 o'clock East game. I just can't imagine starting Cooper Kupp. I'm not ready to drop him just yet.
Yeah.
But I want to see it first. Yep. So, yes, I'm closing it out. To your point, he's not inside my top 50 this week. Let me see it. And he's getting close to being,
I'll give him one more week because there's a few caveats. One, Seattle just never had the ball in that game. Like, the Niners just had it all the time, and they couldn't sustain any drives. And it's the first week in a new offense with Sam Darnold and everything. So I give it another week, but, be ready to drop him if he shows nothing.
The weird thing is so Kupp ran 24 routes on last week and earned only 3 targets on those 24 routes. But it's just like, who else are they throwing it to? I mean, are we going to Torrey Horton, Jake Bobo? Where are we? What's going on? I mean, that's the weird thing.
They seem hell-bent on just trying to run the ball.
Right. I mean, maybe that's what it is.
But at some point, you're going to be in a throw script. That's the NFL.
Yeah.
So. I mean, week 1, they were intent on running the ball, and they never had the ball. So it's like, all right, you're never going to throw the ball, and every pass went to JSN. Yeah. So they'll get more volume in the passing game.
All right, another wide receiver, a veteran wide receiver that also got off to a slow start, guys. DeVonta Smith against the Chiefs this week. But, Matthew, we've seen this with DeVonta Smith before. This isn't as alarming to me as Cooper Kupp.
No, it isn't. And I want to give a shout-out to my friend J.J. Zachariason who pointed this out. But the Philadelphia Eagle wide receivers had a 35% target share in week 1. That is the lowest of any team in the NFL in terms of wide receiver target share in week number 1. Over the previous 3 seasons, Philadelphia ranked 2nd in wide receiver target share at 65%. So, typically, when they're throwing the ball, they're throwing it basically to A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith. And in this game, they threw to their running backs. They threw to Dallas Goedert a lot. It was a weird game script, and I don't know if it's because Dallas made a point of sort of taking out the wide receivers, and so Jalen Hurts sort of took what was available to him. But I expect that to be corrected again. It's just way too low of a wide receiver target share. Again, I want to shout out my friend J.J. Zachariason for coming up with that stat. I just think about the last time they played the Kansas City Chiefs. We saw it in the Super Bowl. They're playing this week, obviously, Chiefs-Eagles. It's the big game of the week. 22% target share. He led the Eagles in receiving yards. DeVonta Smith did as well. No team in the NFL allowed more fantasy points to opposing wide receivers in week 1 than the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, the Chargers, another run-heavy team in theory, had no problem attacking that Chiefs secondary. That was an area, they did not look ready for prime time.
Yeah, I'd say the 2 passing attacks that underwhelmed in week 1 that I'm just not concerned about are the Eagles and the Bengals. Because we just know what these teams are. We know what they're going to be. It's the same players they brought back. It's the same quarterbacks. We know where the targets are going to go and generally what the volume will be. I think Dallas was just playing a lot of soft zone, which led to a lot of Jalen Hurts running, led to a lot of Dallas Goedert targets over the middle, led to a lot of running back stuff you said. That's just going to correct. A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith are going to be fine. Now, they might not get the volume that we hope, but they're going to get a lot more volume than they did last week.
Yeah, I'm at wide receiver 31, so I'm as a low-end wide receiver 3, high-end wide receiver 4. So in a league where you would normally start, if you're in a 12-team, 3-wide receiver league, you're starting DeVonta Smith. I'm keeping him open if you would normally start him, given your lineup and roster size.
Maybe the most alarming one, guys, Mark Andrews, Jay. This game had a ton of points. It had an explosive passing attack on both sides of the ball. No Isaiah Likely in it, and Mark Andrews had a 5% target share.
Yeah, I think this is one of the most underrated things in fantasy now is that the Ravens are just completely loaded at skill position players now. And even when Likely comes back, he's going to add to that. But DeAndre Hopkins is going to get targets in the red zone. And that's where Mark Andrews should provide a lot of his value in theory. Zay Flowers seems like he's taken a leap. Rashad Bateman took a big leap last year. And there's Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry taking carries as well. So I don't think there's a lot of usage to go around in this offense. And I also think this Ravens offense is just such a truck. And that got a little bit lost because of the calamitous collapse at the end against the Bills. But I think this is going to be the best offense in football, and it's going to be the best offense in football largely through the run game. And I just don't think there's going to be that many fourth quarters where they need to throw the ball a lot. And, they're almost 2 touchdown favorites against the Browns, who also have a good defense. And so it's not a great matchup there for Mark Andrews. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to be starting Mark Andrews outside of very deep leagues.
No, and by the way, if you left your draft with Mark Andrews as your starting tight end and that's it, you need to make other plans.
Yeah, go get Juwan Johnson.
It's Harold Fannin time for you.
Harold Fannin time, exactly. Juwan Johnson, Hunter Henry, Brenton Strange, any of the guys that are sort of out there. Or even Isaiah Likely, by the way. Isaiah Likely is somebody to grab and stash because the stat I gave out on Football Night in America, where part of my parlay, one leg of my DraftKings 3-play parlay was Mark Andrews to get 4 receptions.
Right.
Shouldn't be that tough.
It's not
4
great.
Receptions,
game?
especially when you think about the fact it was a high-scoring game that had an over/under of 51 heading into Sunday night, over 80 cashed. But in the 4 games the previous year that Isaiah Likely missed, Mark Andrews had a 22% target share. And the Bills struggled against tight ends the previous year. Now, they were also banged up and they were a lot healthier here, but still, 4 receptions for Mark Andrews, especially, by the way, I just sort of kind of felt like, man, he had the bad drop in Buffalo last year. They brought him back. He's this team leader. He's a Ravens legend. Lamar is going to want to get him a couple of easy catches. Just, hey, be a part of this team. Let's exercise those demons. He had a 5% target share. He was targeted once on 16 routes. He only ran 16 routes. He had a 68% route participation in week 1, guys. 30 different tight ends in the NFL ran more routes in week 1 than Mark Andrews. 30.
That's crazy.
Since the start of last season, in games in which Mark Andrews does not score a touchdown, he's averaging 4 fantasy points per game. 4. And by the way, didn't even get to 4 on Sunday night. Didn't even get to 4 fantasy points. We'd have been happy with 4 points. That'd have been above. So not only am I closing it out this week, but I'm just, we love Mark Andrews, friend of the podcast, the Mandrews, but
great years in
fantasy, but it just doesn't seem like he is somebody that fantasy managers are going to be able to count on consistently this year.
Yeah, I would say, the thing is, so we see a question from Jess Dabbs, better start this week, Mark Andrews versus Cleveland or Hunter Henry against Miami. Hashtag free the ankles. I say hashtag lock the ankles up, but, oh no,
Yes.
I didn't even notice that.
Let's go.
Wow, what a day for
Right,
that.
there you go.
Why are they so thin?
What do you mean they're so thin?
They're ankles.
Well, they're not thin. Why do you stand on these things? What are you talking
Unbelievable.
about?
Use
I
some
got good
sort of-
ankles.
Start Hunter Henry.
I should
Miami
be-
can't defend tight ends.
I have Henry at tight end 9 this week. But I'll just say this: I think I could be an ankle model. You know how Costanza was a hand model
That's
in
right. It looks
in
like you kind
Seinfeld?
of have a bruise on one of them.
Well, you know what? I'm in the rough and tumble streets. I got into a fight in the parking lot. Some asshole honked behind me at a green light. Didn't give me a sense. So, I had to
That's what he
take care
came
of
away
some
with.
business.
Kicked him in the shit.
Kicked him in the shit. Exactly.
No, I had a point.
Exactly.
I had a point on Mark Andrews. Yeah, here's the point. So,
My beautiful ankles distracted you?
It's not a slight on Mark Andrews in general, but DeAndre Hopkins still has some juice left, which I
Yes.
think he does based on the insane catch against the Bills. Also, DeAndre Hopkins was fine last year before he got hurt towards the end of the season. There is a very real chance that Mark Andrews is the 5th best pass catcher on a team that runs the ball a ton. Because if Likely comes back, him, Flowers, Bateman, Hopkins, Andrews might be 5th in the pecking order, which is a problem.
On a team that runs the ball very effectively.
As much as anyone. Yeah.
By the way, and there's an argument to be made that he might be 6 because they like Justice Hill in the passing game.
Right.
Yeah.
They, I mean, they do.
Yeah.
No, but on 3rd down, they like Justice Hill. We'll talk about the Ravens backfield coming up.
About
Just Pete wanting to move on, and you two just going on and on. And I enjoyed it. I had the power if we wanted to move on. I decided to.
We can talk more about my ankles.
Yes. To recap, keep it open. I'll tell you what else I was laughing at in a second. But to recap, keep it open or close it out.
Yes.
Dak Prescott is an open. Kenneth Walker is a close at RB34. Tyrone Tracy is open at RB21. Better days ahead for Tyrone Tracy. Travis Hunter open, top 30 play at wide receiver. Cooper Kupp outside the top 50 wide receivers. That's a close. DeVonta Smith against the Chiefs. Should be a bounce back for him. Wide receiver 31 and open. Mark Andrews at tight end 20 is a close. The last thing I was laughing at is the rundown just says, any breaking news? ? Connor Pete will let you know. I'm really supposed to trust producer Pete to tell me if there's any breaking news.
It really is. You know, hey, why don't everyone tell me about your hobbies?
Yeah,
You know,
there we go.
Is there substitute teacher Pete? Is there any homework? No. Just everyone read quietly
Watch
at your
the
desk.
movie. It's nap time. We're taking our first break. When we're back, we're talking any concern around Ashton Jeanty after week 1. We're looking at all the rookie running back outlooks right after this.
What went in the decision to scratch Keaton?
Numbers. You can't get everybody up, you know, and you've got to make a decision about who's going to be up and who's going to be down. And the number of snaps you can get Keaton on offense are pretty limited. You're going to take Derek off the field. You're going to take Justice off the field to do it, and those are all going to be designer plays. You know, that's what Keaton does right now. He runs the kind of the designer plays.
Boy.
That was Ravens head coach John Harbaugh. Yeah,
tough news if you had ever been on a national television show saying, like, I think Keaton Mitchell's better than Derrick Henry.
Right. Fade Derrick Henry.
Fade Derrick Henry because of Keaton Mitchell.
Round 3 pick, Keaton Mitchell.
Right.
Unbelievable. I thought he was going to be a part of the offense.
Yeah.
What happened? He could run in the preseason. Never said he was better than Derrick Henry. He doesn't put words in my mouth.
All right, let's go to the photo evidence.
We
got any pictures of this?
We don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Come on, Pete.
The kid was not at the Yankee game, but he did draft Keaton Mitchell in the fourth round thanks to Jay Croucher.
Funeral?
Yeah, exactly. He was crying.
He got a Keaton Mitchell jersey for his birthday. Now he doesn't know what to do with it. Thanks, Jay.
Somebody Photoshop a crying kid in a Keaton Mitchell jersey because Jay told him. But you did think Keaton Mitchell was going to be part of this offense, but that's tough talk from Jim Harbaugh. Saying,
So did I.
John Harbaugh, I should say, saying, like, all he can do is designer plays, like basically that if you put him out there, the defense knows what's coming. Like there's no versatility to him, if I'm interpreting that coach speak correctly.
Yeah, okay. Well, three things. One, in those seg 2 was starting with a hit piece on Croucher. 2, how about you design some different plays for him, John? Like, can we get some more plays for Keaton Mitchell? He's really fast and he seemed really good when he was out there in 2023 before he got the Achilles. Let's find some other stuff for him to. Is he that much worse than Justice Hill? Really? He doesn't have more upside? I don't know. I guess they're making the right. I'm not going to defer to John Harbaugh after the way that he butchered the end of that game. So let's get some better plays there. And 3, what's with the grim tone? John? Like, was Manchester by the Sea with Keaton Mitchell? Like, what's going on there? He looks so grim.
He was totally shell-shocked.
Yeah. It might have been after the week 1 loss. I don't know exactly when that press conference happened, but that's a tough one. Keaton Mitchell, by the way, was a healthy scratch before the Bills game, before the Sunday Night Bills game. And look, I think, if you manage to ignore Jay Crouch's advice and draft Derrick Henry, as I did in the League of Assholes, among other leagues, you're feeling pretty good right now. Maybe. Admittedly, I'm 0-1 and you're 1-0 in our league, so,
Maybe Keaton Mitchell wouldn't have fumbled the game away against Buffalo.
Right. And once upon a time, I know it was a very low extension, but this team gave a contract to Justice Hill. They gave him a contract extension like, we think you're worth paying as a number 2 running back, so they're probably going to ride that out unless he gets banged up, and then Keaton Mitchell, who is much faster and much more exciting, might play.
But Keaton Mitchell was kind of a trendy sleeper for deeper leagues. Obviously,
he looked great this summer.
He looked great this summer. He had that one big play in the preseason where you're just like, whoa, he looks all the way back. And then, anyway, so feel free to drop Keaton Mitchell in non-dynasty leagues, non-keeper leagues. Looks like it's going to be quite some time before he gets on the field. And full confidence, obviously, in Derrick Henry. We don't need to talk into Derrick Henry, Connor, but we do want to talk about some of these rookie running backs and their utilization in week number 1.
Starting with Ashton Jeanty, who maybe didn't have the dream start that everybody's hoping for, especially Ashton Jeanty was a first-round pick in fantasy this year. Obviously, how early he was drafted in the real NFL draft. But I will say this, Matthew, New England under Mike Vrabel, they're going to do everything they can to make sure teams cannot run on them. And the Raiders, to their credit, looked around and said, we have Geno Smith, we have Brock Bowers, we have Jacoby Myers. Without Christian Gonzalez healthy for this game, we could feast on this New England secondary. They didn't need Jeanty to be a hero.
No, they didn't, but he still got 88% of the Raiders' running back touches, 21 of 24 running back touches. He played 85% of the snaps. That's third among running backs in week number 1. He got the goal line carry. He converted it. He looked good on that. So I'm as a top 10 play this week against the Chargers. He's an RB1. I think there are no concerns about Ashton Jeanty, even though the box score outside of the touchdown may not have looked like it. The usage is there, and we know from Jeanty's talent, if the usage is there, the fantasy points and the opportunity is still going to be there, right? The production, I should say.
A little bit of a concern that he literally had negative yards before contact, and the O-line might be a problem for Vegas, but it's also like, what are you going to do about that? Like, you're going to start him every week. You don't want to trade him after that week, so there's nothing really to do except to hope that they play better.
And I think the utilization and just overall eye test was good for Omarion Hampton as well, Jay. This is somebody that the Chargers came out week 1 and shocked the Chiefs with how much they threw. Yeah. It feels like this is one that the pendulum will swing back, and Hampton's due for a big week soon.
I think 2 things can be true out of week 1. One, you can be a little bit surprised that the Chargers threw the ball so much that they have been now, since the midpoint of last year, the top 2 pass rate over expectation team in the NFL. And this is going to be a throwing offense, I think. But also at the same time, you can feel very good about Omarion Hampton and the fact that this is just unequivocally his backfield. And I don't think, as Najee Harris ramps up, what are they going to do? They're going to take him 50% of the carries to ramped up Najee Harris? Like, Omarion Hampton, he looked fine. He looked good to me. He looked explosive. He's going up against a tough run defense in Kansas City. Like, go back and see what Chris Jones was doing in that game. Like, he was just wrecking that game. And they don't have to play Chris Jones the rest of the season until like week 15 or something. So they get to avoid him. They'll have more success running the ball going forward.
Teams don't run on Kansas City.
No, they don't. It's one of the best run defenses in the NFL. I'll just sit here and say that this might be my favorite show we've ever done. Hearing Jay Croucher slander Najee Harris, like just sitting there, a man that you loved for so long, hearing you, admit, yes, exactly.
Next thing you go worse. Now I'm a Riley Green type of guy.
I mean, like, if there's one small concern with Omarion Hampton, it's that the Chargers passed so much in that game, right? Their pass rate over expectation was off the charts. And yet, Omarion Hampton still had a 6% target share. So I want to see him more involved in the passing game. So that was a little bit of concern, but 61% route participation. He got 17 of the 19 team running back touches, 89%. His utilization score for week 1 was 68. Now, the utilization score, that's a metric that Dwayne McFarland of FantasyLife.com came up with. It's very simple. On a scale of 1 to 100, how much was he utilized when looking at all the underlying data in terms of, snap share and routes and, routes per play run and everything that that he does there. They played where it snaps, his route participation, et cetera, et cetera. So his utilization score was 68, very strong. Jeanty was 74 in week 1. So just kind of an easy number to let you know, like, oh, this is a guy that's being used all the ways you want, or this is a guy that necessarily isn't. And so, I have Hampton at running back 14 this week. To me, the most telling thing about the game was at the end of the game, they're against the Chiefs. They're against the AFC champion Chiefs, one of the best run defenses in the NFL, and they're trying to, run out the clock. They're just kind of eat clock and not get the ball over, and Hampton was the running back out there. They were like, we still trust the rookie over Najee Harris as we're trying to ice this game. So I thought that was the most telling thing.
The 2 running backs taken in the first round, usage obviously extremely promising. Now is where it gets a little bit more tricky here, Matthew, as we move to a lot of the day 2 and beyond guys, starting with TreVeyon Henderson for the Patriots, where, listen, we know this is one of their most explosive offensive threats, but at the same time, they aren't just ready to completely hand him the keys, it feels like.
No, they aren't. Played only 34% of the snaps. Ramondre Stevenson played the majority of long down and distance. He also played the 2-minute snaps. So 34% of the snaps, 34% route participation, just a 13% target share, which, we thought Henderson would be such a bigger part of this offense. He got 11 of the team's 21 running back touches, just 52%. He got only 38% of the running back rush attempts. Remember, Drake May obviously took a lot of carries as well. I'm at running back 24 this week, kind of a mid-tier flex. His utilization score was only 57, which is not ideal, especially given where you drafted Henderson. All of that said, I still believe in the explosiveness. I still believe in his role in this offense. And I think as they get more comfortable and teams have to account for Drake May's rushing ability, you'll see that more. He's a better player than Ramondre Stevenson, but Ramondre is the veteran. He's the guy that they want to put between the tackles. They don't want to overload Henderson in terms of a workload because of the injury history. And I do think better days are ahead starting this week against the Miami Dolphins defense that did not look good in week 1.
Yeah, there's a couple things. One, Drake May's not going to throw the ball 46 times every week. 2, this is the baseline. This is the starting point. What direction is this going to go? We're going to get to week 9. It's now Ramondre is fully ramped up. It's his offense. This is only going to trend in one direction. I don't think it's going to get worse for Henderson, certainly. And it's just a matter of how good does it get. I agree with everything. He is the more talented player. He's the more explosive player. And this offense is going to need to find explosiveness.
Let's take a look at the Fantasy Life Plus tool, the utilization report. If you want to have your hands on exactly what we're talking about today and see this, any backfield, Matthew, but let's talk about the Patriots still.
Yeah, for sure. This is an unbelievable tool that was designed by Dwayne McFarland and the team at Fantasy Life. This is going to seem like a commercial, and I guess maybe it is, but it is a legitimate tool right there. You can say, hey, what's going on in this backfield? So you sit here, I want to compare Henderson to Ramondre Stevenson as we sort of see here. You kind of see snaps, rush attempts, routes, targets per route run, targets. Just what their utilization scores are as well, what their snap percentage is, their rushing attempts, every single. And you can, as you can see up there on the upper right, weeks 1 through all the way through the playoffs. Hey, what's been the utilization since week 4, since their bye week? You can sort and search whatever you need to do, figure out exactly when you're sitting there trying to think about, should I make this trade? Should I try to acquire this player? Who am I starting this week? What's their usage? It's an incredibly helpful tool on FantasyLife.com. It is, and Dwayne has a free article, the utilization report. Just go check out that, on FantasyLife.com. It's the best thing we have, I think.
Get personalized fantasy football insights based on your league settings with Fantasy Life Plus. Your league is unique. Your advice should be too. Head to FantasyLife.com and use code ROTO20 for 20% off.
By the way, you can also, I got to check in on where the scoreboard is, but you can use J20, Connor 20, or Matthew 20 for 20% off, just to see who you like more. If you feel bad for Jay after the beating he's taken today, J20 is the code to use. Now let's go to the Commanders here. We're sort of okay, well, Austin Eckler and Jacory Crosky-Merritt, Merritt obviously had the touchdown and looked good. Just a utilization score of 45. He got 10 of the team's 23 running back touches. That's 43%. But he also got 50% of the team's red zone rushes, which I think were a positive here. He had 10 carries. 3 of them went 10 or more yards. So we saw the explosiveness in a real-life NFL game that we saw in the preseason as well, Jay.
Yeah, well, you're a bit of a Commanders insider, Matthew.
Yes,
you heard anything about where this is going to trend? Do you think they're going to ramp up and give JCM progressively more of the backfield?
Yeah, they are, but they still like Austin Eckler. They still like his veteran leadership. They still like him in pass protection, and Eckler's still good. I mean, I thought Eckler looked like Austin Eckler.
It's a perfect role for him.
Perfect role for him. Doesn't need to carry the full workload. He had a 19% route participation. This is JCM, Bill, with a 3% target share. So I think that ramps up a little bit. Played 29% of the snaps. I think this is ultimately going to be a true committee. I think it's going to be 50-50. I don't think it ultimately becomes entirely JCM's backfield. But I think, if you go back to last year when it was Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler and look at the games where both guys were healthy, I think that's probably a good sort of indicator of what we expect here out of the Commanders.
How about the Broncos, notably R.J. Harvey? Not a lot of work. He had the big run in this one, Matthew, but this is a backfield that is extremely complicated right now.
His utilization score was 35, which should tell you what you probably already know. He played 31% of the snaps. J.K. Dobbins played 52%. He got only 7 of the team's 28 running back touches. So he got 25% of the team's running back touches. And the other weird part here, Connor, is that R.J. Harvey had a 33% route participation. Like we think at least R.J. Harvey was going to be part of the passing game, right?
That was kind of the sell on him.
7% of his routes. Tyler Beatty played in the long down and distance and the 2-minute situations. This is the thing we talked about in the preseason here. They don't trust R.J. Harvey in pass protection yet. And so while they understand the upside, we saw it in that 50-yard run, there's concerns here that are going to limit his playing time initially.
Right, and at cost, Jay, you were drafting R.J. Harvey to not only break off the big runs, but maybe be a little bit of a PPR cheat, especially for Bo Nix that typically might keep the ball under control and check it down.
Yeah, I think the key is just the J.K. Dobbins played 52% of the snaps. This offense did not look good either.
It didn't.
And it can obviously get better, and it probably will get better, but I think the hope that this would, like Bo Nix year 2, would come out a significantly improved player, and this was going to be, a top 10 offense with a lot of scoring opportunities and a lot of valuable fantasy real estate. Still possible, but you have to downgrade those expectations because Bo Nix looked like a bottom 5 quarterback against the Titans, and he gets a Colts defense this week that's pretty frisky as well.
This will be a fascinating game on Sunday against the Colts. Denver on the road at the Colts, who obviously that defense looked really good. It's against Miami, so it'll be a really telling week for the Broncos offense this week, I think.
Our last one, guys, Kaleb Johnson. Listen, Kaleb Johnson was not a part of the offense, was out there on the kick return team. I've never seen a utilization score of 2. He actually got 2 points on the utilization score. It just feels like, Jay, Arthur Smith is going to lean on the veterans in both Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren.
And Aaron Rodgers is going to lean on
and
those
pop
veterans
passes to
as
Jonnu
well.
Smith.
Is there any reason Kaleb Johnson should be rostered, Matthew?
I mean, I'm at running back 60. I guess no. I mean, I guess it depends on your bench size. Yeah. I do think a role comes for him at some point in the season. But it's going to take a few. It just depends on how patient you are. But if I'm stashing a running back, I'd much rather Quinshon Judkins than Kaleb Johnson. If I'm stashing a running back that's not really playing right now, I'm nervous. He ran 0 routes. He's not involved in the passing game, and so if he's not getting the rushing yardage, he's my running back 60 this week, and I might be too high.
We're going to take our last break. When we're back, Back to the Futures returns, our favorite awards and futures bets right after this. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly and $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV.
Just download the Sportsbook app and use promo code FFHH when you sign up.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Wake up, Matthew, with the green light.
Oh,
Back to the Futures.
honk, honk.
See, you can see how it happened.
Yeah.
Jay, what do you got for us?
Got your man, Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
A friend of yours, not a friend of Aaron Rodgers, but a friend of mine too. He's 18-1 to win Coach of the Year. The Jets are plus 650 to make the playoffs. I think that's incompatible. If they break the playoffs drought in the NFL, then I think he'll win Coach of the Year.
I agree, Jay. Matthew, what do you like on the board?
How about Tetairoa McMillan for Offensive Rookie of the Year at plus 1,500? No rookie wide receiver had more receiving yards in Week 1 than Tetairoa McMillan. I get that Emeka Ibuka got all the headlines with the touchdowns, but Chris Godwin's going to be coming back. McMillan is all the Panthers have. They should be in negative game script throwing quite a bit. Give me T-Mac for Offensive Rookie of the Year plus 1,500.
I like that play. I think T-Mac's going to have a big year. I'll go for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And yeah, it's easy to bet Abdul Carter because he's been amazing, but I'll play a long shot. Will Johnson was awesome, and he's plus 1,500. Should have been a first-round pick. Medicals had some teams holding back on that. Well, those teams could look very dumb with how great his Week 1 was.
I like it. I like all three of those bets. All right, well, listen, it's closing time, so which means you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. If you're at a ballpark and you see Jay Croucher, boo him, please. For Connor and Jay, I'm Matthew. Peace out.